On today's program, Josh Pederson and I are talking the Han Solo spin-off film and how a change in directors could spell doom for the Star Wars franchise. We're also talking the future of the Uncharted series, Sega Forever, the impending death of the fidget spinners, and is this the worst summer movie season ever? Plus, we have clips from the latest Super BS Gamescast and another hit song from Hyperschmidt. It's a star quadrant full of podcasting asteroids we have to navigate through as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. And along with me is my cohort in crime. He is the host with the most. He is the man, myth, the legend. Behind Humanican Media is Josh Pederson. How are you, my friend?
I feel like cohort is such a degrading term. Maybe assistant evil mastermind would be a better term.
Well, we're both like co-hosts. When I refer to everybody now as far as what there's no host or co-host or like that deals.
Did you say
in this thing together, man? We're in this thing together.
Did you say co-host or cohort?
Well, I said cohort in crime.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Like co-conspirator, like we're going down in flames together, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Once we get
which leads me to my next question. Do you think that it would be more insulting to be called Robin or Batman's utility belt?
Aren't they one and the same?
I think Robin's a little more useless.
Fair enough, indeed. But it's going to be a great program here today. Before we get into the particulars about today's show, Josh, what is going on with the wonderful world known as Humanican Media?
We have some Topicocalypse coming at you. I actually just met with one of the guys from Topicocalypse, Eddie, and we're discussing a podcast that kind of encompasses everything Humanican Media talks about. So we can just have just a base show, and then all the other shows will branch off of it. But so you have Topicocalypse. There's a new What About This coming at you Monday, and then they're super. Like I said earlier, Super BS is on hold for a while. I want to
actually pay our respects and our thoughts to Brian, correct?
Or Eric.
Oh, Eric, Brian, aka Eric.
Yeah, Brian, aka Eric, or Eric, aka Brian.
There you go, Eric. So I just wanted to play our respects and our deepest thoughts. We hope everything's going to be okay, correct?
Yeah. He's in the hospital. They say he'll be okay, but they don't know what the extent of the damage will be yet.
Well, I hope he's going to come out of it true blue and beyond the Super BS Gamescast sometime very soon. Definitely our thoughts at the Pop Culture Cosmos and PCC Multiverse are with him indeed. Well, it's going to be a great podcast. Like I said, again, it's going to be just a wonderful time indeed. We've got a lot of things to talk about this hour, including everything from Uncharted to summer movies to fidget spinners. That's right, fidget spinners. Going to be a great show indeed. If you get a chance, check us out indeed at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Humanican Media on Facebook and Twitter. If for some reason you cannot catch our first run airing on the Podcast Radio Network at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network, where we're definitely just so thankful to you for making us a top 10 rated show. We, you can always catch us on the download because you can download our shows at pretty much any given point in time right after it airs. It's going to be available each and every week, along with the Pop Culture Cosmos show. Both those shows are available on, well, here's the list coming at you right now. The Tangibound Network, the ESO Network, the Gonna Geek Network, Overcast.fm, Ace Podcast Network, iTunes, of course, Podcast.com, TuneIn, Stitcher, Player.fm, just found that one today, Mixcloud, Google Play. You can catch us on any one of those downloadable or streaming options. Plus, also, you will get our Pop Culture Cosmos shows after they run on Podcast Radio Network, the #1 show for the past 4 months, that one also goes up on the same channel. And plus, we on pretty much every single one that we produce, we try so hard to add a great podcast on the back end. So you get 2 podcasts for the price of 1, absolutely free. Could be a Humanica Media podcast, could be even upcoming, maybe even an Inside Sports podcast we're thinking about doing again. Also could be a Rob McCallum Films podcast, could be so much more. It's 2 podcasts for 1. It's just a great deal indeed every time you download a Pop Culture Cosmos or PCC Multiverse. So Josh, first off, got to talk to you about it's been all over the pop culture news past 48 hours. The sudden exit of the directors that were in charge of navigating through the Han Solo spinoff film. And who should step in? Just like that, it's Ron Howard. So I want to ask you first your thoughts on the sudden departure and the sudden, I guess, creative differences between the directors of the Han Solo film and Disney and obviously Lucasfilm as well. And then also the hiring of Ron Howard at this point in time. Is that a good strategic move to finish up this, well, obviously dealing with the Star Wars universe, a very, very and highly anticipated film?
Yeah, so this was kind of weird to me because, Marvel has taken a chance on introducing directors who can bring something unique to the Marvel universe, and I figured that would be something that would transfer over to Disney, or not Disney, but Lucasfilms, now that they're owned by Disney. But the thing that I'm curious about is the fact that, so the directors, Lord and who was the other guy?
It's Phil Lord and Chris Miller, best known for the Lego Movie.
Yeah, okay, so they...
And probably be known for picking up the job with the Flash movie at this point in time, because I believe there may be in negotiations now to pick up that movie.
Oh, good. Yeah, last I heard is Robert Zemeckis was they're talking about him. But anyways, it just goes to show you, I don't think that they're willing to take the risks with Star Wars that Marvel is willing to take with their properties. I know, because Gareth Edwards did Rogue One, and I remember that was kind of plagued by the production team saying, hey, we got to reshoot this, and there are all these stories of what was going on behind the set with that one. And I'm curious what their take on Han Solo would have been like, but I feel like, maybe it's time that Lawrence Kasdan is his name, the writer, that he kind of hands the reins over a little bit, because it sounds like he's not so much he's kind of these old school directors and writers that kind of live in the past are not really willing to take chances, and that scares me for the future of Star Wars, because it makes me think, hey, they're never going to bring anything new to this, because all it's really going to take is one bad Star Wars movie to kind of create an avalanche of bad opinion.
But would it really start here? Because Han Solo and the characters, I should say some of the characters we've become so familiar with, Lando and whatnot, are going to be in the film. So their characters already established and have been established for so many years already. I mean, there are some new characters that they're integrating in, like Woody Harrelson, who plays Han Solo's mentor in the film, and others, of course. But, with Chewbacca and Lando and Han Solo, that's still some traditional, you already know how it's going to end up with those characters. It's just maybe have that old school logic still there, but try something new and different, maybe on an entirely different spinoff, like Rogue One could have been. Oh man, yeah, that's still based in, but like something else maybe set in a different future, like the Boba Fett film or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't understand, because
the film wouldn't be set in the future, but a Star Wars film that's a spinoff that could be set in a different time frame.
Yeah, and the thing that's weird about this is that it is a spinoff. It's not a mainline entry. It's a spinoff film, and you have these characters who are really just meant, like, their acting style is meant for the type of comedy that Miller and sorry, I can't even remember his name right now.
Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller are known for bringing to their film. So it's really odd because now Ron Howard, well, he's a good director, I guess, if you don't take into account Inferno or whatever his.
Well, his career, was great up until the past 10 years, but it's really gone on the decline ever since then, correct?
Yeah, but he's a very, I guess, what you'd call cookie cutter director. Like if you want somebody to follow orders and create what you want them to, then Ron Howard is probably the right guy for the job. We'll see what he brings that's different to this one, but with him in the director's chair, I feel like it's going to change the whole tone of the movie.
It probably will change the whole tone of the movie, but he does have a familiarity with those in charge at Lucasfilm.
Yeah,
So
with American Graffiti,
yeah,
if I
exactly.
remember.
Well, I'm sure the longstanding relationship with, obviously, with Spielberg and Lucas and all that, they've obviously worked with Ron Howard on more than one occasion outside of American Graffiti as well. So definitely that goes back, and obviously they know his work over the course of time. This could be a big benefit. Could be a big benefit to Ron Howard for his career and be a big boost at the latter stages of his career, correct? If he does this, if he pulls this off and pulls this off well.
Yeah, let's just say like if this movie ends up being good, it might wash the taste of the last Dan Brown based movie out of people's mouths.
Follow that drone. Oh, I'm sorry, that was my review from as far as when it came out, I guess.
It's funny because I read your review and after I watched the movie, because I remember thinking when I was reading the book, I was like super into the book, and then I was like, wow, that was a really lame twist. Like that's not original at all.
No, it wasn't, and everybody was just everybody seemed to be twisting as far as it's concerned. It seemed to be like a twist all over the place. Everybody almost in the main central cast had the turn, either bad to good or good to bad or indifferent to either one, and it just became monotonous at some point. So it was pretty disappointing from that end. But like I said, I'm hopeful that Ron Howard will be able to pick up the pieces of what was left from the creative differences between Lucasfilm and Lord and Miller, separating, and hopefully he'll be able to get it done. But what do you want to see from a Han Solo movie as far as the whole backstory is concerned that intrigues you the most?
Okay, the Kessel Run, of course.
Of course, in 12 parsecs.
In 12 parsecs, man. That's the fastest ship in the galaxy. But honestly, besides that, I would like to see how he met Chewbacca. But really, there's not really anything else I'm curious about because
the gambling as far as how Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon.
The Millennium Falcon. Yeah, there's all that stuff would be cool to see, but I don't have anything I'm like, yes, I really hope they see this. So, and I think that's working to my advantage because I'm going to go into this movie without any expectations, and hopefully I'm going to come out blown away by it.
I hope so as well, because once we hype something, and now the expectations have got to be lowered because of this almost in shooting change. So if it does turn out to be good, there you go. I mean, look at World War Z. I mean, the expectations were lowered dramatically because of all the reshoots that had to be done and the whole latter section of the film that had to be totally reworked. And I guess directorial issues were somewhat similar as well. And look where that got. It got to be a fairly decently rated film, and obviously it did wonders at the box office, and is looking for finally, I think, a sequel is going to be actually start filming hopefully later this year. So definitely, if that can happen to that film, then maybe for the Han Solo movie that can work out as well. What are your thoughts on the Han Solo film directorial change? Do you think it's going to end up being okay after all, or do you really now have some misgivings or some really anxious moments because of what's going to be taking place? Or do you think it will actually meet its, I think it's a May 2018 as far as premiere date? Is that correct, Josh?
Yeah, they're looking to move Star Wars release dates to summer, so that should be exciting.
Do you think it's going to still meet the May 2018 release date?
From what I understand, they've already filmed a lot of it, so it's I'm sure they've got a plan in motion. And Disney's one of those companies. Disney is like the EA of video games. They're going to force you to put something out, whether or not it's like.
Well, they're going to apply as much with Disney.
Want the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Disney's going to apply every single resource it has to keep Star Wars afloat and make it a passable movie. Now, it's going to be hard to reach the depths of the prequels. So I guess that's the bar set really low there. So if the Han Solo film is anywhere above that, it's still good. But although, if it is mediocre at best, it still could damage the franchise for future Star Wars episodes and future Star Wars spinoffs. If somebody wants to see that Boba Fett film or other spinoff films, maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi, what have you, that could set a bad precedent indeed. But again, what are your thoughts out there on the Han Solo spinoff movie? Please let us know, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, or just give us a shout out or DM us on Humanica Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. Well, it's going to be a great episode of the PCC Multiverse. Got a great song coming up for you from Chad and Hyperschmid, and that's going to be coming up right now, right here on the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. I'm here along with my good friend, co-host along with me. We're both co-hosting type deal. It's Josh Pederson. Really, really, really appreciate you joining us on the broadcast here today. And don't forget our Monday show every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's the podcast radio network. It's the Pop Culture Cosmos show, the #1 show, thanks to you, 4 months straight on the podcast radio network. And then that's also available on all those downloading and streaming options I mentioned earlier as well. Well, Josh, I want to ask you a quick question, and then we're going to go into really as far as more depths with it. In your opinion, is this the worst summer movie season ever so far?
Is it the worst? It's pretty close. I mean, it's been a disappointing summer movie season so far, and obviously I've had different opinions on films than a lot of other people, but yeah, it's just nothing's really
King
Arthur and Wonder Woman, but nothing's really struck me as like, oh, that was so rad. And I'm hoping that Dark Tower and Blade Runner. Does Blade Runner come out in the summer? Or is that
No, that's a kind of like a fall release.
Okay, well, I'm hoping Dark Tower will fill that void, and as expected, Transformers is bombed. But yeah, it's really right now like the summer is relying heavily on Spider-Man and the Dark Tower and Baby Driver. Those are like the 3 cool movies that look like they might have any weight in the box office at the moment. So
I couldn't agree with you more on that as well. But speaking of Transformers, which just came out and has done less than half the opening day the previous iteration did, it still banks a lot of its money, as we've talked about on previous episode, overseas. But your thoughts on the horrible critical rating? In this case, I think it's definitely justified as far as Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic is concerned. But then again, all the films in the Transformers series have been bad, but they've performed so well financially. So what do you think is the difference as far as this? Could it be viewer fatigue or something else?
I think it's a mix of viewer fatigue and the fact that critics were already bashing the movie before it even came out. We were doing it, and they're getting bad reviews, but I think it's one of those.
But they've all got bad reviews. I don't think any of them have gotten.
But I mean, making
above 50 on Metacritic.
Making fun of Transformers, like this is a weird thing, but making fun of Transformers and Michael Bay has become like making fun of Nickelback. It's just kind of like the cool thing to do now.
Right?
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. So whether or not the movie's actually bad, we'll have to go and watch. I don't think that the Transformers series as a whole are terrible. I think they just became stagnant. Like we've seen it all. The story is not good. It's not terrible, but it's just not there. It's like there isn't a story. It's non-existent.
But they're never coherent.
Yeah, and that's the problem. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that people are getting burnt out on it. Maybe if they want to take a few years off, try to build the demand back up from it. But from what I understand, they already have Transformers 6 in the works. So it's
2018 possibly, and then
it's
2019, and then they're also talking about a Bumblebee spinoff because he's so cute, and lovable, and I don't know. I mean, do you think this is something that can reach out to audiences, or do you think, like you said, they need to do a reset, maybe go back into it maybe 5-7 years from now?
They need to. They shouldn't reboot it. No, don't do that, because then it's just going to waste all the time that we've spent watching these movies. But I think they should wait. Build a demand back up, and come at it when you're not coming at it from an angle where you want to make money. Come at it when you have an actual story to tell.
Well, also then Hasbro has talked. Didn't you tell me Hasbro's even talked about doing a spinoff between their two main hot properties, G.I. Joe and Transformers, together in a movie?
Right. Yeah, and they want to do a crossover film. So all these movies are existing just for cash grabs, and like when we're at this tipping point where franchise fatigue is becoming a thing, and Transformers is going to be the weight that pushes it over. So it's going to start with Transformers. It's going to keep escalating into other franchises. And then it's just not going to spell good things for future blockbusters.
Indeed, it does spell a lot of hardship indeed for blockbusters, for upcoming blockbusters indeed. And because as I think audiences are kind of getting tired of stagnant, repetitive franchises that have been around for many years now. I'm worried at some point in time people are going to get tired of the Marvel franchises and the Star Wars franchises, unless they do things to keep it fresh. As we're seeing now with Transformers, people are really getting tired of the actual franchise and series itself. What are your thoughts out there on the actual summer movie season? Do you think this is actually one of the worst summer movie seasons ever? I've been hard pressed to find a movie this summer season that I just was overjoyed to see. There's been a lot of movies that have been substandard, and a lot of them have been mediocre at best. What are your thoughts on the summer movie season? Please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Humanica Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. And well, this is always a topic I like to talk about. Uncharted, baby. Uncharted, the preeminent series in video game narrative. At least that's my opinion anyways. Is going to be, at this point in time, closing out a certain segment of its actual iterations, with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy coming out, I believe, in August, if I'm not mistaken. Looking forward to playing through that. It's a kind of a spin-off of the actual Uncharted 4 game, but it's going to be its own standalone DLC. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than DLC, but a little bit priced underneath what a regular game would cost. It's going to be a full adventure that's going to take familiar characters from the series, such as Chloe and whatnot, through their own adventure. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing that. But when pressed during recent interviews, officials at Naughty Dog have conceded that this probably won't be the last adventure in the Uncharted universe. When Uncharted 4 came out, it looked like, from all intents and purposes, that was going to be the last adventure, and that Naughty Dog was kind of done with the series as a whole. So I ask you, Josh Peterson of Humanica Media, what are your thoughts on extending the Uncharted series and coming back to it? Obviously not right away, because I know Naughty Dog wants to do some other things, and obviously The Last of Two is most preeminent among them. But what are your thoughts on the news that they will most likely return to the Uncharted saga at some point in time?
I think that they should explore some other characters. I think it's cool. They should explore other characters like they're doing with this new one.
They're talking about possibly even doing a backstory on Sully, who's Sullivan, who's actually one of the most endearing characters in the series.
Right. Yeah, I was reading that, and that would be cool. Do a backstory on him. Do a backstory on not the brother, but was the villain Wraith? Like, I think he would have an interesting backstory, and fill some time with those characters, and then.
Or even the brother himself, because remember, he was jailed for a period of time, according to.
Yeah, exactly. And then when, after we've explored who they are, then the fans will really be craving the return of Nathan Drake. And I can just see it, like making the announcement at E3, have Nathan Drake's voice come in, the fans go crazy. Like, there's a lot of possibilities for that. And it's like, it's something that people would get hyped over.
Definitely, I would get hyped over. I might even do a backflip. Okay, no, I wouldn't. But I would be very excited indeed, just because Naughty Dog seems to do so much right when it creates an Uncharted game. Gameplay mechanics aside, their narrative has always been intriguing, and the narrative has always been inviting, and just the story has been gripping, like very few other series has been able to maintain throughout the course of a period of time. I mean, we just saw with Mass Effect Andromeda, unfortunately, it wasn't able to keep up the narrative because another studio took it over. And I think that's also what Naughty Dog is preventing. Naughty Dog is preventing 5 years down the line Sony getting that itch, to go ahead and, really need Uncharted to come back. Ben Studios, I know you did a Vita version of it. Well, can you, why don't you do a full version of it? We own the rights, so we can do it, right? So, or Sony Santa Monica or London Studios or whoever they would commission that. So, because obviously that would be the temptation down there at Sony to do something like that. So I think it's in Naughty Dog's best interest at some point in time to revisit some of these characters or create some new ones, or even establish new characters. Even I don't want to spoil the ending of Uncharted 4, but there are possible leads as far as where the series could go as well, into some new character realms. So that's a possibility as well. But I just think
the daughter too. The daughter, I guess, would make it.
You just spoilers.
Oh, geez. If you haven't played Uncharted 4 by now, you're probably not going to.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the daughter as well. That would be she would be a great idea to have a lead, a game centered around her to create that Drake tradition, indeed. So, or Sullivan backstory or what have you. There's just so many great options when it comes to the Uncharted universe, and I'm definitely looking forward to the day. Hopefully not too far away, but I know they want to at least give some time. So it probably won't be something that we're going to be able to talk about for another 3-4 years at least. But at least it's better than what was said at the time of Uncharted 4, because Naughty Dog really seemed like they were done, absolutely done with Uncharted. So it's definitely great indeed. I've got Mr. Nathan Drake right here behind me, all up in arms about that possibility. So that's great indeed. So maybe even an appearance by an older Nathan Drake would be fine indeed, especially with a movie coming out with Tom Holland, which I know a lot of people are on the fence on, because, and I know we've discussed this in regards to Tom Holland as a younger Nathan Drake, as opposed to what I was hoping for, like an already established Nathan Drake. But maybe they want to just grow him into that mold, and if they do really want to make it a series, I can see their logic in that. But all right, we'll see how it goes with the Uncharted film series. But Naughty Dog does have full control of its game series with Sony. So it's good to see that Sony is going to allow Naughty Dog at some point in time, and if Naughty Dog chooses to, which at this point in time looks the most likely, that they're going to re-enter the Uncharted realm. Not right away, but hopefully right around the corner. What are your thoughts on Uncharted being returned at some point in time? Not too quick, not too soon after Uncharted Lost Legacy, but down the road at some point in time, an Uncharted series kicking up back again. Tell us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Humanican Media on Facebook and Twitter as well. And before we continue on, or before we play a clip from the latest Super BS Gamescast, Josh, do you have a nice cold beverage right now with your new Mighty Mug? Is that correct? That's correct. He does. He does indeed, because if he turned off the mute, he would be able to go ahead and tell you the wonders of Mighty Mug.
Never mind. Yes, I do. I didn't know that it like, I was wondering how it works, and then like I put it on the desk and I was trying to move it and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, you can't move it because I'll tell you what, out there, if you want to just go to mightymug.com or type in Mighty Mug on Amazon.com, you're going to see a lot of great products from the makers of Mighty Mug to hold your favorite beverage in up to 16, 18-ounce sizes. I did a review on it. If you want to find out more, go to our review on popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. These are great products indeed. They stay. If you got any flat, hard surface, it sticks down like a suction cup, so you can't knock it over. I'm actually whacking it right now, hitting it, giving it some, paint brushing it with some smackage right there. Boom, 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 boom. No, nothing. It's not knocking over indeed. So it's definitely a great product for clumsy people such as myself. Josh is not as clumsy, but he likes the fact that it doesn't knock over. So it's a great thing indeed. If you get a chance, check out our review, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. And if you're really interested in a really solid container for your next beverage, please give it a try. Go to mightymug.com or Mighty Mug on Amazon.com. They're great values indeed. They're right around $20 for most of their items. Great value. They're going to last a while, and you really can do a lot with them, holding your favorite beverage indeed, especially if you go back and forth, if you're always in the car, whatnot, or if you just don't want your beverages to spill over. Trying to knock it over again, didn't knock over. So it's a great thing indeed. That's Mighty Mug. And like I said, check out our review on Mighty Mug at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. I know I say it all the time, but believe me, with the kind of numbers we're getting, that is just overwhelming to both Josh and myself. We cannot thank you enough for being part of the broadcast and listening in to whatever we've got to say about the pop culture world. Josh, before we head on, to our next subject, can you enlighten us a little bit more about what's going on with Humanican Media? We just played a little thing from the Super BS Gamescast, so shed some light on what's going on with more stuff from Humanican Media. Yeah,
I know that my mic is unmuted this time.
I know, right?
I had the best line for this unspillable cup, but
go for it. Mighty Mug does what?
Moment's gone. It's not funny anymore. So, but yes.
Okay, fair enough indeed. Good media.
It was timing. What's going on? We have a new What About This coming at you on Monday. Super BS is on hold for a couple weeks. If you were listening earlier, you know why. New Topicocalypse it's done, so I'm going to be posting it periodically over the next couple of weeks. And finally, we're working on a new podcast. So, and Inside Sports is coming back. So there's all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome indeed. And then, like I said in our post recently on Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanican Media, and Game Source, if you are interested in becoming a contributor in any sport that you feel that you can provide expertise on, and let the people out there know, and you don't mind coming on one of our YouTube sessions and chewing the fat with either Josh or myself, or the host of the Inside Sports, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Charles Smith Jr., please let us know, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, or direct message us at Humanity Media, also as well Game Source, also as well Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook and Twitter. So that's a great thing indeed. Just cannot wait to start the Inside Sports and talk on some sports. I know we do a little bit on the Pop Culture Cosmos and PCC Multiverse, but getting into do a little bit more and working with Charles is going to be definitely a great thing indeed. He's a super guy, and I'm just wishing all the best for his upcoming podcast. Speaking of our podcast, Josh, have you got a chance to check out the latest thing going on with retro gaming and Sega coming to mobile devices?
I sure have, Gerald. yeah, no, that's pretty rad.
That was a great lead in, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
There was nothing forced there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading about it now. Like it's an app for your phone, and all the classic Sega games are free. So that is pretty rad.
And that's from the Genesis 2 Dreamcast. So that covers a lot of ground there and a lot of different titles.
My hope is that it will have Streets of Rage eventually, because everyone knows that's the best Sega game.
Well, some Madden people may say differently. I'm not one of them, but
that's mostly because they're wrong.
Oh, well, maybe they could say Sega CD and do Night Trap as well, just for those people looking into waiting for the Night Trap remake to come out. But not like me. I'm not interested. But anyways, that's another story here and there. I would hopefully love to see them get into the Sega Saturn. I'd love to see Daytona USA on that Daytona. But anyways, it's going to be a great thing because it's coming to mobile devices and it's absolutely free. You just got to go ahead and, guess what, tolerate some ads, but to get a chance to play all these great games from the past. What are your thoughts as far as being able to get a chance to get your hands on all these great titles that you and I both once had such great admiration for?
I don't know. I mean, like I mentioned to you earlier, I think that people will play them, but they're not really like, they're fun games to have and they're fun games to play around with, but it's not something someone's going to get seriously invested in. And
well, so, they want to really go down that retro road. And
I guess it depends on if they make it so you can save your game, especially with like Phantasy Star. Like if you can go in there and say like, because you can't, nobody wants the phone batteries have not reached the point where you can sit there and grind for 12 hours. It hasn't.
Sure.
We haven't reached that point yet with battery life.
No, but maybe with tablet life plugged in. But see, that's just a small percentage of people who are going to actually use it, because you and I, when we're going to be interested in using something like this, we're going to be out and about on our mobile phone, wanting to kill 10 to 20 minutes of time, just like pretty much every mobile user when they're, as every game like Pokemon Go, Angry Birds, and whatever, games has come down the pipeline over the mobile. That's been a craze indeed. But this, I just think it's a great idea by Sega. But it also makes me, sort of nostalgic as far as the time when Sega thought it was going to be the number one kid on the block and ahead of Nintendo, ahead of Sony, ahead of, in the future, Xbox. So,
hey, you never know though. Atari announced a new console. We might just see Sega make a comeback here one of these days.
Well, that's true. And your thoughts on the new Atari console? Do you think it's really going to be something that people are going to capture that same kind of attention that the Nintendo unit got during the holiday season last year, which unfortunately got taken away from us all too soon?
They haven't specified exactly what it is. So is it going to be another classic retro console, or are they going to try to make something new? I can't see them competing with Sony or Microsoft. I'm fascinated. Like if they were to make something that did have HDMI and could support some really killer games, and something new, like that's Atari for a whole new generation. Like we they're people who missed out on that phase, so that would be rad. But you know, I don't think that's gonna happen. They said it's comparable to a modern PC, so I mean that's got me intrigued for sure. So
Definitely myself as well. But
yeah.
people like, you know, they don't, when they see this logo like I'm wearing it right now, the Atari, not all of them, you know, shameful of them. Shame on you, by the way. Not all of them know what the Atari symbol means. In fact, in the latest Blade Runner 2049 trailer, I mean, this Atari is just like out there, and not everybody is familiar with Atari even at this point in time. So I have them having come out with a new system possibly is just, I think it's just really just, even if it's retro based, it's still very, very intriguing indeed. So any final thoughts on all this retro gaming that we're talking about, either on a mobile or a new system entirely?
I say that manufacturers are definitely trying to cash in on the 90s nostalgia, because that's the thing right now. And I know, like, I was reading today, Nickelodeon is bringing back like a whole lot of their cartoons from the 90s. So it's definitely a fad that people are trying to market, and hey, it's working. I'm buying it.
I want to see a new Ren and Stimpy made out. That would be awesome. That would
Hey, new Rocko's Modern Life though. I mean, did never think that would happen.
Ren and Stimpy. That and Starship Troopers. Those two things they can bring back from the 90s. And I would.
Well, they had an animated sequel to Starship Troopers, I think.
No, real Starship Troopers.
Real.
Yes. Watch out for those bugs. But anyways, tell us your thoughts on the retro gaming scene with the announcements of the new Atari system that's coming on the way, and also as well Sega Forever. Share us your thoughts. We want to hear from you. What games did you love playing during that time? What games are you looking to play again? And what are you looking forward to from both of these concepts? Give us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com or Humanican Media, Game Source, and Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we're back to close out the show. This is the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. And I'm here along with my good friend. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Behind Humanican Media is Josh Pederson. And we're just going to be doing some spinning here, because I think everyone in, well, pretty much the entire world, the civilized world, I should say, has now seen these things in action. And such a small thing that does such a simple thing has grown to be this worldwide phenomenon. I was actually recently on vacation at several different locations, including theme parks at Disneyland and SeaWorld and Legoland, and they all had their own fidget spinners there by the dozens. They're every single retailer outlet. They're at retailer outlets you wouldn't expect to find toys and games, everything from auto supply stores to 7-Elevens to just, you name it. They all seem to have these fidget spinners. The fidget spinners craze is now hot and heavy, and maybe it's not as maybe there's a little bit of case of everybody jumping in and it's oversaturated already. So I ask you, Josh, this time next year in 2018, will fidget spinners still be a thing?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be like, you know what I think is due for a comeback is yo-yos. I think we're primed for an Omega comeback. But as for fidget spinners, they had fidget cubes and all that stuff. That's been around for a while. And it's a funny story with the lady that actually invented the fidget spinner forgot to renew her trademark on it, and that's why all these things suddenly just blew up and everyone's got them. But I think that it's weird because I'm reading stories about fidget spinners and like people, I'm like mesmerized by you spinning that right now. But I'm reading stories of people who are saying that doctors have prescribed fidget spinners to kids with ADHD, or there's stories about moms going on Facebook and saying, hey, don't buy fidget spinners because my daughter choked on something, or it cut my fingers. But like, you think about, then you read the age of like the people these happen to, like 13, 14, 15. You're like, you don't really feel bad for them. That's kind of like the laws of nature. You don't put a small piece in your mouth and then try to swallow it and expect something bad not to happen. But yeah, I think the time of the fidget spinner is fading. You see them; they were really popular. Now I'm seeing them less and less. So I think it's already on the decline.
I am not seeing them any less and less. They are literally everywhere I turn. Like I said, when I was on vacation, they were at E3. We got one at E3, a mixer one. Do you remember that?
This is true. We did.
Yes. So even Microsoft has jumped into this. So I'll tell you what. Right now, everybody's jumping into this, but by the end of the year, hopefully, this will be something that we can soon forget. And this time next year, I think it actually will have been. Remember that time fidget spinners was a thing? Well, I'm hoping
and then people will be like, "Hey, check out this sweet new Omega X brand I got." As they're doing little yo-yo tricks and spinning the cradle, around the world, walking the dog on the high wire, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so something like that. I was never really good at the yo-yo, but if it does come back, I might have to get get a lot better at it. So just your thoughts out there. Is the fidget spinner going to die a horrible death sometime very soon? Do you want it to die a horrible death sometime soon, like Josh and I do? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Humanican Media on Facebook and Twitter as well. And one more last shout out to Mighty Mugs. Give a big shout out to them. Great product. Gave us a very, very, very good review of it. You want to check it out, popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. We truly appreciate them allowing us to get a chance to test these out.
I would show you mine, but it's stuck to the desk.
Exactly. So they're once they lock in, it's hard to get them out, and that's good. So see, that was me popping it out of the desk right here. Indeed. So, exactly. That's intended audio sounds right there for you. But yes, it's definitely a great product indeed. And if you're out there driving right now and you're really looking for something better to hold your beverage in, check it out, mightymug.com or mightymug on amazon.com, or check out a review at popculturecosmos.wordpress.com. So it's been a great one indeed. A lot of great stuff we covered here today. Any last thoughts before we head on out, Josh?
No, I think I think that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about, good
Until
stuff.
the next disaster.
Until the next disaster. Yeah, yes, we'll be there.
Well,
might even be caused by us. We don't know yet. It's up in the air.
Well, it's definitely going to probably be Michael Bay, maybe just freaking out because Transformers just did not take off at the box office. But we'll get the final numbers in and we'll report on them on the Pop Culture Cosmos show next week. So definitely looking forward to that as well, along with other great things from the world of pop culture. And well, it's been another great episode indeed, and just want to thank you for joining us, and we truly appreciate it. For Josh Pederson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's been another beautiful day right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening, and here's hoping you have yourself, as I show this mighty mug one last time, a great day.